welcome to our 1 year in our trailer video. It's been not exactly a year, right, since we've gotten here.
It's been about 10 months, 9 months.
However, we own the trailer for like 13 months now. So, anyways, we just wanted to go over some things that we thought were fun.
Not so fun.
And not so fun of just trailer life, I guess. So, we're gonna start off with the problems.
Let's go somewhere.
I wanna start off with the problems because I think there's a lot more good than there are problems. Do you agree?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so first things first, I never realized the condensation. When it gets cold outside.
Well, we live in Washington where it rains 300 days out of the year. That's probably an over-exaggeration, but it rains a lot here. Like it's raining right now if you can hear it. It's
close. I mean, it's a lot.
So, living in a trailer, your walls aren't as thick as a normal house.
I think it's 2 inches. I think it's either 2 or 2.5 inches thick on these walls, and I think it's even less on the slides.
So the slides where we've had issues. We haven't had issues on the main walls, but in the slides we've had issues with
mold. That brings us to our second thing. Mold has been a lot, and not like in our everyday things. I mean, our baseboards, which is just shoe, what they call it. So, you know, a 1/4 inch by a 1/4 inch shoe molding that goes across. You've literally been on your hands and knees scrubbing it with a toothbrush. And mold on the window sills, which I'll show you guys, and mold underneath the couches. So what?
The couches has been the worst. I feel like that's because it's so thin on those walls that we've had friends stay over and they can feel like a visible difference in temperature between like the main living area and in those slides. So I think that really makes it just attracts the moisture a little bit more, and then the moisture just like lives behind the couch. So yeah, it's pretty gross back there. Chris is gonna have to do some scrubbing.
Yeah, and I'll show you guys. I haven't even taken it. We just saw it the other day, so I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna show you. It's actually awful. I'm gonna have to remove the entire couch, and we're just gonna have to do some stuff. In fact, I'm gonna install a skirt, but then again, I'm also scared of rodents. In the wintertime when it's cold.
Which brings us to another thing that we don't love about the trailer. Bugs.
Bugs. Okay, if anybody's been in a trailer, for as nice as they can possibly be, the slides have gaps in them. Okay, it just happens.
We also keep our windows open a majority of the time.
Yeah, but still I mean, I think you're talking about the flies. She hates flies.
And the ants.
The ants are the ants are what's terrible. However, in the summertime,
oh, look who's here.
I put down a bunch of stuff like a perimeter thing. I don't know what it's called. It's like kills or something. I put a perimeter. I sprayed the windows and doors with this track stuff that if they touch it, they die. It's just been difficult.
But at one point, I feel like we had like 1,000+ ants in here. It was like an ant party.
You can literally see you could literally see the track.
Chris was just like spraying Raid around all of the crevices and between all the slides. And we haven't had issues since then. But this summer the ants were, and they were teeny tiny ants too.
Yes.
So that was kind of it. They were like in our closet. I don't think we have any footage of that, but the ants were like crawling all over the clothes in the closet. But we just put out a bunch of traps, and we sprayed with the Raid, and it helped a ton. Honestly, like they were gone for a couple days, couple weeks, and then they'd come back, and Chris would have to spray again, then it'd be gone again. So that was another problem that we've had. Definitely, it was just like the bugs. We haven't had any issues with rodents.
No, but that's why I'm scared to put on the skirt. Because if it's cold outside and warm underneath, what's that going to attract? So if I do that, I am going to put a crap load of traps down there.
Honestly, we'll probably have cats living under there because we got a lot of cats.
Actually, that wouldn't be bad.
They'd eat the rodents.
They'd eat the rodents. So there's a double-edged sword, and I'll show you guys what I do with that. But that's a decision we haven't made yet. Okay, let's go to the next thing. Laundry. We
are super lucky to live in a trailer park that has a laundromat like on site, like right down the road. We're literally doing laundry right now. And
it's honestly the cheapest way to go about it. I mean, I'll go to the laundromat, spend $30 to wash, I don't know, 4 loads of laundry, but it's definitely difficult. So laundry was one thing, and another thing that was actually harder to get than we thought, but we found it in the second try, because when we were coming here, mail. Mail's one thing that I don't think anybody thinks of, right? So when we got here to this trailer park, it's not a trailer park per se, like an RV park. It's a trailer park.
It's a mobile home park.
Yeah, so they have spots for us for our mail. But every other place you would have had to, so every other place you would have went to that it's an actual RV park, you can mail it to their main place. But some parks charge you for that.
It's free here.
It's free here.
We did luck out with that.
Yeah, so we got our mail to
But getting it all situated and getting our mail forwarded from Virginia to here was difficult.
Okay, are there any, like, problems? So I love Grand Design. I did a lot of research before we bought this trailer, so I want to just go over some things that we don't like about this trailer. There's not many at all.
Yeah.
In fact, most of them are fixed and they're done. I didn't like the heat. I felt like the heat wasn't hot enough because it was like
the
about
water. The
it was
water
like
heat.
85, 90 degrees. Thank you. Yeah, the water heat. But I fixed that. There's a valve in there. There's a two-way thing, and it does it on purpose to have longer showers. I don't care about long showers. I just want hot showers.
Hot showers.
And they still last about 15 minutes. Second thing, the heat in the furnace never gets to this side of the trailer. So it's very strong in our bedroom and in the bathroom. However,
which is a positive and a negative because when we sleep in there, we can turn it. So we're kind of, Chris runs really hot. So
I love the cold.
We like it relatively chilly in here. So we'll normally like sleep between like 55 and 62 degrees like within the trailer. But the temperature in the room will be that temperature, but out here it'll be like 40 to 50.
Yeah.
So we had friends stay over and they were like, oh my God, it's so cold. Yeah. And we were like, well, the bedroom is so hot because the heat kicks out.
Yes.
Probably 95% into the bedroom and then 5% into the bathroom and then like nowhere else.
Yeah.
Just kind of like
well,
blows
the furnace is underneath the dresser, or not to, wow, I'm living in an actual house. The furnace is underneath where you store our clothes. So it just pumps right in there, and then the thermostat is outside the door. So we close the door because of Blue, and she'll drink water and eat at the, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Hours in the morning.
And it just wakes us up, and she'll like shake and whatever. Okay, but anyways, but that's one thing that I found. It's not the biggest deal breaker since we actually have the fireplace.
It was a huge game changer when we had guests because we would turn the heat off completely because the bedroom would be so hot, but then our guests would be freezing because it would be 10 degrees colder out here, so they would turn on the fireplace and they'd be like nice and toasty out here. So the fireplace is fantastic. We even have the fireplace going when we don't have heat running just because it looks so pretty.
Yeah.
But the heating option absolutely within like 30 minutes will make this whole place super warm, which is nice.
And it rocks. Okay, so I know it sounds like we've talked about a bunch of bad things. Because
I think you're gonna need to cut it where it's like bad thing, good thing, bad thing, good thing.
Well, I mean, yeah. If I'm editing and it's like, holy crap, there's like 16 million. But the thing is, I do think that even though there's bad stuff about it, they're very minimal.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of good stuff. So I will say, I love Grand Design. I haven't had, and knock on wood, I haven't had a problem.
Oh wait, we didn't talk about the window.
Oh goodness. But this is no fault.
This is not Grand Design's fault.
This isn't Grand Design's fault. This is a fault of not being able to get stuff for the supply store.
Yes.
We cannot get a window, and I'll show you guys.
We lost our bedroom, one of our 2-bedroom windows back in July.
Yes.
When we took a trip out to Alder Lake camping, and it flew off the trailer on the highway. And we haven't been able to get a window since then.
Yes.
So
it's been 7-8 months.
We had to jerry rig duct tape and garbage bags.
Which I'll show you guys.
He did insulation. It works. It's fine. It looks super ghetto, but it works. And we have no other option because it rains so much. So we had to put something there. But
oh my gosh. Well, I'll show you. Okay, so I only put insulation there at first, and I'll show you guys right now why that was a bad idea. This window's been gone. Look at the puddle in there. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, horrible.
Bad
horrible.
Idea. So
it was so damp. We're literally washing our pillowcases because they were soaked because they were on the ground.
Oh, and clothes and anyways. Okay, so I want to get into the good stuff about the RV. I love tiny living. I love the fact that we got rid of a lot of stuff. I feel very much offloaded.
Oh yeah.
Do you agree?
When it was the coolest thing, I feel like we talked about this before, but to be able to say, hey, we're gonna close the slides and put Bluey in the truck and drive, and everything we own
is with us.
Is on the road with us. That was so cool just to be able to say we can up and leave whenever we want. And that's another thing that we absolutely love about the trailer is the travelability that it kind of brings, and the fact that we are those people that are just like the fun friends, because we have like, I mean, it's our house, but like it's our trailer, and like, hey, you want to go camping? Like, we're not camping, like we're glamping all the time.
This is our house.
Because we have the house with us. So it's like, oh man, we're camping and we don't have a knife. Like,
we got it.
We got all the knives. Like, we live here.
We had some our good friends, they rented a trailer, and it was just so fun to be able to be like, oh,
no garbage bags, and we're like, we've got garbage bags, of course.
Or like I come outside, I'm like, oh, I forgot the keys, they're at the house. We're at the house. So it's just really fun to be able to be like, this is it, and I'm glad we picked what we did, because I love the 3 couches. Even though we don't really use them, it just feels more homey.
And the ability to sleep 6 people in here is amazing for a trailer this size.
Yeah, for a travel trailer, that's for sure. So the kitchen is a little small, but
to have 2 pull-out couches that comfortably sleep 6 people, and we've done it.
Oh yeah.
Is
multiple
amazing.
times. That's right. Okay, another thing that I love about trailer life. Whenever you talk to anybody and they're like, where are you staying at? And you're like, I live in an RV down the street. They're like, what?
In a trailer park.
One of her friends was like, you're living my dream.
Yeah.
It's just fun because I think a lot of people want to do this, and it's really fun. I love it.
Especially out here, because the cost of living is so expensive, and we talked about this
so
in our first video.
So be our next thing as well.
Like, just in, like, for all my friends who are living out here, they're paying $1,800 to $2,200 a month in rent for a apartment.
And and sometimes that doesn't include water, electric, and sewer.
Most times it doesn't. So you're paying upwards of $2,000 for a space that, I mean, is probably a little bit bigger, but like, we've got a backyard.
Yes, which I will show you guys right now. Backyard is one of our prized possessions. We got that once the lumber price went down. I was like, we've got to go and get this stuff right now.
And we did it all in one day.
The next thing I want to talk about is the price, because the money that we were able to save from actually spending, we bought a boat with. And the boat's been so much fun. It's a 1988. It's a Sea Ray. It does just fine. It's actually in really good condition for an 88, but I love it. And so it's been fun to come back to the park. By the way, there's a lot of people. We're surrounded by a lot of 55 and up communities. So like, it's actually really nice. There's not a lot of noise. I mean, it's been fairly quiet.
We found like an awesome spot where we're like, when we moved here, we heard that the area that we were in, like, Washington in general, like, doesn't have the best track record for crime rate.
Yes.
But the area that we moved to, we heard when we moved here, like, oh, you're moving there, like, oh, you're really in for it. But like, the community that we're in is, it's very tight knit. It's very safe.
Yeah.
Like, our immediate neighbors are absolutely fantastic. Like, we are so lucky to be where we're at, and for the price that we're paying, like, we got
it's unbeatable.
A ton of space, honestly. Like,
yeah.
We pay under $1,000 for the trailer and the spot, which in Washington is absolutely unheard of unless you have like 2 to 3 roommates.
Right. No, that's right. Yeah, even at the last spot, we're paying $800 just for the spot, and we had electric to pay for,
and water,
and water.
So water is included where we're at now, which is nice.
Garbage is included as well.
Yeah, garbage is included.
So
here.
we just pay for electric, which is kind of expensive, but that is because we pay a lot of money for the dehumidifier to make sure the mold doesn't grow. So that's another thing. Dehumidifiers, those little things that are like trap mold, water. So that's one. Okay, any more good things? I know there's more good things. I love being able to go. I mean, Washington, there's a lot of places to see. And so, I mean, we can literally just take up and go. And the way that we set the backyard up is we can go. Everything's still in our fence. We're not worried about things just being outside. You know, it's enclosed. Everything's locked up. I feel very safe about that. I love being able to go. I mean, there's a lot of cool things to see here. And I'm excited to go to the San Juan Islands. We've got a lot of things to explore, I mean, just in the trailer alone. And I think we have a year left here. And so there's a lot of stuff that, in fact, we're going to have to start to plan now because people just
Camping
eat
is
up.
huge out here. You have to really plan it super far in advance.
They eat up those spots.
Because the summers are so short, with the nice weather, you have to plan super far in advance to be able to find an RV spot because camping is so big out here.
That's right.
We're probably going to start planning now for next summer, places that we want to go see, especially over those like 4-day Army weekends and stuff.
And now I got the drone.
All the ways that you make me, build me up on the things I lack. I don't ever wanna lose you now. 'Cause I don't think I'll make it here now. 'Cause it's you and only you. 'Cause it's you and only you. 'Cause it's you and only you. I don't know where the time goes, it just flies when I hold you close. In my arms with your eyes closed, for the first time I've got hope. I don't ever wanna lose you now. I don't think I'll make it here without. I don't ever wanna lose you now. I don't think I'll make it here without. 'Cause it's you and only.
So we're gonna get some really cool footage. Oh, the biggest thing I think we forgot about, cleaning.
Oh, yes.
Dude, we'll come home and be like, listen, what did we do the other day that I thought was super cool?
We put timer.
We put 20 minutes on the clock, on the that. And we're like, all right, let's see what we can get done. And
It was a mess. We just had friends over for like 4 days.
yeah.
So when you have people over, like you're not cleaning when you have friends over. So
Yeah.
the place was just like kind of grimy, and we like had foot traffic, and it was just a mess. So I came home from work, and it was a mess because Chris had worked all day long, and normally he keeps the house really clean, but he didn't have time to clean because he was working. So we came home and like, let's just set the timer. Let's just see what we can get done, and we cleaned for 20 minutes, and this place was
Spotless.
It wasn't like deep cleaned, but you'd walk in and be like, this looks nice.
Yeah, but that's the difference between 20 and 30 minutes, 35
Truly,
minutes.
no,
I mean,
yeah.
Seriously. I mean,
Well, I would have like scrubbed the baseboards and like cleaned the toilet and like.
Yeah, but still, I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when
really
you live in, we never found out the square footage of this place, so it's probably like.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Probably like 220.
It's got to be 200 to 300. I mean,
Yeah.
300, I think, is stretching it. So, but yeah, I think.
But again, and we said this before, never. I mean, when we have people in here, you can really feel it, and I guess that'd be kind of a downside. Is like when you have guests, like the space honestly feels more cramped. Like with just Chris and I and the dog, like. I never feel cramped. Like we hang out in the living room and it feels like it's its own separate room. Or we sit down for dinner and we feel like we're in like an eating space. And like we go to bed in the bedroom and I don't feel like I'm claustrophobic or closed in. Like I feel comfortable. Like I have enough space.
It feels enough. It feels like it feels like a separation of spaces.
Yes. And obviously there's like times where I have to be like, oh, I need you to move over. Like I literally need to get by you and I can't. Because you're blocking the entire hallway.
I'm also a big boy.
Yes.
All right.
So I think that it just is a testament to the space that like someone who is like almost 6'4" can live in this space and be comfortable.
Yeah.
And we have a dog and there's me. So there's literally 3 beings in this space and I don't feel claustrophobic.
Yeah, which I think is huge. I mean, for 31 feet technically from inside to inside. Because with the hitch... the spare tire and stuff, it's 36 or 35.11. Okay, but either way, I mean it's not bad, and I haven't had any problems with cooking. I haven't any I mean given the oven is tiny, however, I haven't fit anything in there that I'm like, oh, this is too, you know.
Well, we also have the Instant Pot and the air fryer.
So that's another thing,
and that helps a ton with like cooking stuff. So we don't use the oven a whole lot, but when we do, we never like run out of room.
You can't put 2 things in there. It's one thing, but here's the thing: it's just me and Emma. So if I gotta put 2 things in there, it's either we're cooking a big meal, or there's two things that need to cook separately, which why can't we just combine them in the first place? There's a lot more good things, but I think the reason that we can't think of them is because they haven't come top of mind because we haven't had a problem with them.
That's true.
So I think that leaving the big house, and when I say big, it was 1,100 square foot. It wasn't huge by any means. It was, in fact, I don't even think it was 1,100 square foot. It was like 11 or
it was 1098. So it's just under 1,100 square feet.
It was just under 1,100 square foot. But however, I mean, I feel much more comfortable in this. I never have come home and been like, oh my God, I can't stand this. It feels so homey.
Well, we've made it a home also, which is what you have to do with any space, I think.
I think it's made us closer as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, we were close, obviously, to begin with, but now it's like you're in each other's business.
But now we're a fourth of the space. So we have to be close.
All of our personality in this much of the space. And it's been working out fine.
We have had no problem finding places for like all of our daily items.
Yes.
So silverware and clothing and candles. We have a whole cabinet devoted to candles and a whole cabinet devoted to like games for game night.
Yes.
And we've had no shortage of space. Like we literally use the space underneath the couch, and I'm sure Chris can show you footage of this later.
I will show you.
We use the space underneath the couch for storage. And I feel like that was a game changer too, because all of our guest blankies and our extra pillows kind of like fit very nicely under there. And to be honest, we don't really use those two couches as much. Like I'll hang out with Blue occasionally, but Chris and I really use the recliners to watch TV because they face the TV directly. But we've really found like little, like, and behind the sofa, like behind the two recliners, there's like tons of space.
Oh yeah, I put my computer back there.
We put the computer and like the
Swiffer.
broom.
Oh
and
yeah.
We like store the vacuum. You're gonna have to get footage of all
I'm
this.
gonna show you the vacuum.
We store the vacuum up under the table.
You can't even see it.
And there's like, after we moved a lot of stuff into the shed, because we have a shed. Somehow we went from tiny living to just moving all of our stuff into a shed.
Right, but that's another thing, right? So just because we have a shed, I was in construction. I mean, I still do some construction.
And I've got all my like
army stuff. Yeah, so we have that. Hi, Blue. And we put it all into a shed, and which is funny.
Mostly so that it's like safe.
Yes.
We wanted it like really secure with like a lock, and we don't use it as much as we use like all the daily stuff in the house, obviously.
Yeah.
And so we wanted it like controlled and almost hidden a little bit more so, because those are kind of more high value items.
But if you guys were in a situation where you had a house and said, we're going to leave for 3 months of the summer when my kids are home from school, you don't have to worry about that stuff because it's going to be in your house, it's going to be in your garage. The daily stuff, the daily items that we use every day to live, no problem with it. I mean, we have
we did transition from like heavier items to lighter item, which I feel like was more a personal choice. Like we got like beautiful dishes for our wedding, but they were heavy because they were like ceramic.
We still have them, but
absolutely. So we're gonna like save them for like when we move back into a house again. But like having them in the trailer, just like having to haul them and the extra weight, we switched to like plastic that looks ceramic.
And that's my problem, because like that's something that I deal with all the time is the weight, right? I'm towing with the 1500. I'm not trying to put a bunch of weight in here.
Which you won't be with anymore.
So, but anyways, I bought a 3500 Ram. And
so towing will not be a problem, but just know that if you are towing a rig this size, again, we've done it with the 1500 for 3,500 miles.
Well, with a Ram, I don't know about any other truck. That's the thing.
Yeah, we can't speak to any other vehicle, but the Ram did it expertly. At the end of the day, the Ram 1500 did a great job pulling our Grand Design Imagine.
Yeah, we're going on
our Grand Design Imagine 3100 RD.
Very good. So
we're super lucky that we found a long-term spot, and we're honestly super lucky that we chose living in a trailer and trailer life and Army RV life. So we're saving a ton of money. We're having a lot of fun together. Let's go somewhere.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.